Hi, welcome to Tidbits by Tracy, and I am Tracy. And welcome to my channel. My channel is going to be about all types of randomness, my randomness, health and beauty, and entrepreneurship, motherhood, girlfriendhood, managing life and business, all types of things. We're going to talk a lot about health and wellness though, because without any of that, nothing else seems to function right. I personally know through experience. So my journey, well, let's say we start where I was in management. I've been in management for about 20 years. I've managed in hospitality, retail, beauty. And so in that journey, everything for me was very stressful. I worked a very chaotic schedule all the time. Nothing was ever consistent. I ate really bad. I didn't sleep. I was a crank. And, when you're young, you feel like you can do all that. But, one day life happens. And that's just kind of what happened. I was in retail at the time, and my body started to fall apart on me because I wasn't treating it well. So my hair was falling out. I have psoriasis and seborrheic dermatitis, and so my skin was red and inflamed and flaky and itchy, and I had numbness in my legs and in my hands. Like I could be driving and my arm would just go numb. I had those commercials you would see with restless leg syndrome. That was how I was feeling, because I would be laying down but my legs would still feel like they're moving, kind of like how you feel when you get off a treadmill. And so I started to go see doctors about my hair, and then go see doctors about what was physically going on with me, especially with having autoimmune disease on both sides of my family, my mom and my dad. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it, it's kicking in. And it took so long to get the appointments that while I was waiting, I started to learn about autoimmune diseases in general. And what I didn't know is that psoriasis and seborrheic dermatitis are autoimmune diseases. So they're not just skin conditions. And so how I was dealing with them was not the most effective. So when I was going through, I started taking all of the chemicals out of my house, which is the biggest thing, because I noticed that everything was irritating me no matter what I used, no matter what shampoo, hair care products like, gel, conditioner, hair oil, like any of this stuff you buy at a store only seemed to make things worse. And so I just threw it all away one day. And, after doing some research, I got some African black soap, and I began washing my body in it and my hair. And then I started to do other things, especially for my skin, because those are the things that I could really see and thought I could fix immediately. So I started taking masks, and then I started just learning more, and started watching more YouTube videos, and started watching about what other people were doing naturally to try to alleviate some of the things, because in the research I was reading about the chemicals that irritate and they make things worse. And so by the time I see the doctor for my hair, I had vitamin deficiencies, of course, because I wasn't eating right? So that made sense. So they gave me a bunch of over-the-counter and prescription vitamins. But never once did they mention change my diet. So then a few months later, I got to the next doctor and talked about the things that were wrong, family history, what I was feeling, and the things I had started to do. And her suggestion was to continue along the path of being healthy as far as working out and eating the right things, eating more natural, and going through different things with me. And she said if I felt like after a while that it wasn't getting better or improving, then come back, and then she would go through the different testing and treatments, because she said that stuff was more intrusive than just trying to do things the right way. And so I appreciated her giving me a holistic view. And so I continued to find different things. And so the biggest thing that helped more than anything was just eliminating toxins and eating right. Once I started to do that, I noticed a big change immediately. And then it just became a fine tuning what worked for me. So in this video, the first thing I'm going to talk about the importance of eliminating some of the chemicals that are in your life, things that you use every day, multiple times a day. So in your hair care products, in your toothpaste, in your mouthwash, in your lotion, in your shampoo, conditioners, all of these things typically will have some repeating chemicals. And so these chemicals in very small amounts, occasionally, not harmful, but we are not using them that way. We are using them multiple times. So if you used 10 healthcare products in one day, you have probably taken in, multiples of the same chemicals. And many of these chemicals are petroleum byproducts. So there are the parabens that people are always talking about. So anything that ends in or says paraben, methylparaben, or whatever they are, they will say paraben at the end. Typically products that have mineral oil. Mineral oil, again, in a small dose, occasional use isn't that bad, but it's in your lotion, your shampoo, your conditioner. If you look on these ingredients, you will see it in a lot of this stuff, products that we know every day. And so as you look at, and if you start your morning with your, let's say you get in the shower, you start your day off with your soap, whether it is a bar soap or a liquid soap. If you look at those products and just jot them down, okay, you'll notice. And then go through what you wash your hair with. Notice what those chemicals are. And then if you go through conditioner, so you can do this with all of things, and what you will find are many of them are repeating. You are now taking in more than what you should. So each of these chemicals, the FDA has approved at about 1% or less. Up to 1% is usually the most you can have in any one particular product. Which, if you're only had 1% of that product in one day, you would probably be okay. But once you've now taken on all these different things, and if you're a woman, you're often doing way more steps than that and applying way more things, because after you've, washed your face, showered, washed your hair, now you're going to apply some type of skin treatment, whether it's, moisturizer, and then after that, you'll probably maybe put on some type of makeup. Then after that, you'll go through the toxins of life, the food you eat, pollution. You'll come back home and now you'll take a makeup remover to take those things off. Some of you are getting back in the shower and using those same products. Whatever you were using then, now you are then using more of that. So at some point you could have used 10 products in one day, and you could have 10 of that same 1% product. And let's say it's only half, but again, now you're up to 5% of something that technically you may only supposed to have one in per day, especially if you're using it every day. So eliminating these chemicals are going to be a good thing. And you may not be able to get rid of all of them at one time, but just getting rid of some of them, eliminating some. It is a process. You may not be as extreme with me and decide to go in there and just throw everything away and start from scratch. If you can't do that, that's fine. Try natural toothpaste. Again, try a natural soap, a Castile soap, a black African soap. Those things are very natural. They do not contain a lot of harsh chemicals in them. Things that say perfume or parfum, again, synthetic chemical. Anything that says, artificial coloring or FD and a number, these are also artificial synthetic chemicals that are ways that you can live without some of those things. So you will notice, depending on what may or may not be going, if you're having a skin sensitivity, a lot of women will say they don't like to wear makeup. Well, that's partially because at this point it is irritating their skin. So finding a natural makeup may be an option, because you don't have to eliminate it. You just have to find different or better things. So reading those ingredients are really important. And they will typically, the largest amount of things are going to be at the top. And then things that have the smallest amount of ingredients are going to be towards the bottom of the list. So if you were looking at these unnatural chemicals that you cannot pronounce and they're at the top, those are the most abundant things in that product. And so you have to start pulling some of it out. Even if it's your lotion, maybe you don't use lotion anymore. Maybe you use shea butter, cocoa butter, olive oil, coconut oil, things like that. So pulling things out and replacing it with more natural things will help you to get to a different place, especially if you are finding that you do have autoimmune issues, cancer related things. If you are just having what some people think is just sensitive skin, try pulling some of those things out, and I promise it will make a difference. As I go through more on my channel, I'll go through some of the things that I did for regrowing my hair after it all fell out, clearing up my skin to keep it from being breakout, and what happens when it does happen, because I'm an entrepreneur now, I'm a mom, and I still work a regular job, and sometimes I don't do the right things, and so when I don't, my skin will tell me. But once you learn what those things are, you can go in and correct them. And so I'll go through even things about different types of makeup that you can use that are better products, how to put those products on so that even if you're using multiple things, can you eliminate one of those 10 different makeup products to get you a more natural one. So going through that, some things that I had to change about my diet to also help my hair and my skin. Those are going to be important. Also with weight loss and weight gain, and now that I'm 40, I have other things that are changing that I have to change about my diet because of what's going on. So we're going to go through all of those things. As we go through, I'm going to always ask you to like, subscribe, and go down into the comment section and leave questions, comments, because your comments can help someone else. Your comments are certainly going to help me as I progress along with this. I'll leave some links below about different products that I use that have been helpful for me and in my journey. Thank you guys for watching, and again, like, subscribe. Bye from Tidbits from Tracy.